Peter Steinberger just built a bot that closed 4,000 GitHub issues in a single day. It is called clawsweeper. It runs 50 Codex agents in parallel against the OpenClaw repo, deep reviews every open issue and pull request, and closes what is already implemented or what makes no sense. Several thousand more are in the pipeline. The rate limits, in his words, are rough. This is the most aggressive AI-driven repo maintenance tooling that has shipped openly in 2026, and the design choices in it are worth studying whether or not you ever fork the code. 2-lane safety architecture, 7 explicit close categories. Maintainer-authored items always preserved. Let's break down how it works. Clawsweeper is open source, MIT licensed, sitting at github.com/openclaw/clawsweeper. JavaScript and TypeScript, Node 24 required. It is hard-coded to scan the OpenClaw/OpenClaw repo, not a general-purpose SaaS, though forkable. Steinberger describes the bot as conservative. Only closes when high-confidence evidence on main supports the decision. The repo has 7 explicit close decision categories. Already implemented on main, not reproducible on main. Belongs in ClawHub instead. Duplicate or superseded. Not actionable in this repo. Incoherent or stale beyond 60 days with insufficient data. Anything authored by a maintainer is never auto-closed. That last rail matters because it preserves the human-authored part of the project history. Anyone with commit access to OpenClaw, past or present, never has their issues touched by the bot. The architecture is the most important detail. Clawsweeper runs in 2 strictly separated lanes. Review lane has no GitHub write tokens at all. Its only output is a per-item markdown decision file at item/issuenumber.md. It cannot post comments. It cannot close issues. Apply lane is the only path that mutates, and it requires an apply closures equals true flag plus an unchanged proposal from review. Read-only checkout in CI means no shard can mutate the source repo. Post-review snapshot validation means any leftover tracked or untracked file change fails the item. 5-second delay between closes plus a 50 closes per checkpoint commit cap means GitHub secondary throttling stays under control. The whole design philosophy is fail closed, prove twice, mutate once. 3 commands run the whole pipeline. Plan partitions open items by issue number into 50 shard manifests, written to artifacts/plan/shard-number.json. Review fans out. Each shard checks out OpenClaw at main read-only and runs Codex per item, with GPT 5.5 at high reasoning, fast service tier, and a 10-minute per item timeout. Apply is the only stage that touches GitHub. It iterates the unchanged high-confidence proposals from review and posts comments plus closures. You can see the realistic progress format in the README, 46 of 50 fresh closes per chunk, with the apply pass rate limited deliberately. The repo at github.com/openclaw/clawsweeper is roughly 648 stars at the time of recording. Small but trending fast in the OpenClaw ecosystem given how new it is. About 798 commits visible on the timeline. The README documents the architecture, the 7 close categories, the safety rails, and the cadence. Cadence matters here. Hot intake every 5 minutes for new and active items, hourly for items with recent activity or under 7 days old, daily for PRs and issues under 30 days, weekly for older and active ones. That tiered cadence is what lets clawsweeper run 24/7 without burning a fortune on stale items. The scale is what makes this notable. 50 shards in parallel, 250 pages per scan, 5-item batches, GPT 5.5 with reasoning at high. Service tier set to fast. 10-minute timeout per item. That gives you the headline results Steinberger posted. 4,000 issues closed in one day, with several thousand more queued. Cost is the question nobody has answered publicly. 4,000 items at GPT 5.5 high reasoning rates, even with the fast service tier, is plausibly thousands of dollars in Codex API costs for that single day. Steinberger has not published a breakdown. For comparison, manually triaging 4,000 issues at 30 seconds each is over 30 hours of work. Clawsweeper trades dollars for hours, and at OpenClaw's scale, that math probably works out. The announcement came on X. Steinberger posted that he had built Clawsweeper, that it runs 50 Codex agents in parallel around the clock, that it scans issues and pull requests deep, and that it closes what is already implemented or makes no sense. 4,000 closures in one day, several thousand more in the pipeline, and the rate limits, in his exact words, are rough. The Codex API has limits. GitHub has secondary write limits. Both push back when you fan out 50 agents at once. The pipeline survives because of the deliberate rate limiting baked in. Worth flagging the real risks before anyone forks this and points it at their own repo. 1. Auto-closing real issues is destructive. Even with high-confidence gates, a wrong implemented on main call silences a legitimate bug, and the contributor who reported it walks away thinking the project ignored them. 2. Cost is real. 4,000 items at GPT 5.5 high reasoning is plausibly thousands of dollars per pass. 3. Clawsweeper is hard-coded to scan a single repo run by its author. The conflict of interest is structural. This is a maintainer productivity tool, not a neutral arbiter. If you fork it for a community project where you do not own all the contributions, the social dynamics get harder. 4. The entire pipeline assumes Codex and GPT 5.5 access. Degraded model, degraded triage. 5. Steinberger's own tweet flagged the rate limits. Expect throttling on every dimension when you scale this up. Here's the honest answer to the question you are probably asking. Should you fork clawsweeper for your own project? The architecture is excellent. 2-lane separation, deterministic safety rails, fail-closed defaults. The code is clean. The cost is real. The social risk depends entirely on your relationship to your contributors. For an OpenClaw-style project, where the maintainer also does most of the issue intake, the productivity win is obvious. For a community project where contributors expect human triage, you risk damage that is harder to repair than the time clawsweeper saves. Read the README closely. Adjust the close categories for your repo's culture. Run it in dry run mode first. The tooling is generic enough to fork. The policy decision is yours. Clawsweeper is a clean signal of where AI-driven repository maintenance is going, not autonomous AI maintainers running every project. Project-specific bots tuned by the maintainer who wrote them, with deterministic safety rails and conservative close criteria. That trade, narrower scope, harder safety, real impact, is exactly the kind of pattern other large open-source projects will copy. Steinberger shipped it openly under MIT, so other maintainers can study the patterns and adopt what fits their projects without paying anyone a license fee. Subscribe for every OpenClaw ecosystem drop, every Codex and Claude release, every Anthropic policy shift, and every AI tooling change as it lands. Repo, tweet, and OpenClaw links in the description. See you in the very next one.